Hey buddies, BUGGED here, coming at you another Borderlands 3 video. Today I want to show you this amazing interaction that was actually discovered by a Discord member named Delinquent. Some of you might know him as Claptrap and Moxie's Discord server, but he discovered this really weird interaction with Infusion and the two Storm snipers. So as many of you guys know, the Storm snipers does a big splash. The electric version spawns chain lightning orbs, while the fire version spawns fire orbs that go up in the air. What if I told you that with a certain combo you can actually combine both effects and allow both orbs to spawn on one sniper rifle? But before I get into the meat and potatoes of the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch on the top right. You have no idea how much it helps me out, and let's get into it.
Legendary? Whoa! No way, dude!
So what you're going to need is, of course, a Storm or Firestorm sniper rifle. Now, as you see here, both of these are very low level. I do have max level versions right here, but to show the interaction better, I'm going to need it to be low level, because the way that the other orbs are going to spawn is if you're Amara and you have the ability Indiscriminate as well as Infusion. So pretty much what you want to do is right off the bat, let's say I want to have the Shock Storm to spawn the fire orbs as well, so both of them at the same time. Since I'm using the shock one, I'm going to want to have to equip Soulfire, which changes our action skill damage to fire damage. So what you got to do is have at least 1 point into Infusion, because then a portion of the damage dealt by Amara is going to then deal the action skill element that you equip. In my case, it's fire. If I was using the fire version, I would then unequip it to make it shock, but I'm using the shock one at first just to show you that interaction. And the only other thing you're going to need is Indiscriminate. Now, there's been cases in the past where Infusion used to split the bullet literally into two projectiles. So in the past, Infusion used to take the 8% converted damage, as I'm showing you right here. Doesn't matter the percentage, but it would take that percentage of the bullet, make a second projectile, and then convert that projectile into a formula that would then equivalent to 8% of your total damage. This is no longer the case. Infusion doesn't make additional projectiles except for certain weapons like the Storm and Firestorm. Many of you guys already know that Face Puncher is able to also double the pellets with Infusion, but most guns have been fixed to not work with Infusion. And it's a huge misconception that Infusion also works with the Blade Fury. It doesn't work to double the projectiles on that, in case you were wondering. Anyways, so when it splits into those two projectiles, when it goes to the enemy with Indiscriminate, it's going to spawn the main orbs of your weapon, which is either the shock or fire one. But in this case, since we're using Infusion, the second projectile is going to spawn in orb for that particular element, which is very, very interesting. And because enemies die so quickly with these sniper rifles, I'm using a lower level version so we can show the interaction as easily as possible. So since I'm using the fire Infusion, I'm going to then equip the electric storm variant. You don't have to necessarily phase grasp, but I'm going to phase grasp because Indiscriminate has a higher chance to ricochet onto a nearby target if you're phase grasping them. So I'm going to try to gather as many enemies as possible real quick, just so we can show the interaction real quick. So that's a decent amount of enemies. I'm going to phase grasp this dude. I'm going to send it out, and you will see that the fire orbs spawned right there, and we have the shock orbs as well. So you'll just occasionally, as you shoot, you'll see the fire orbs also spawn after they shoot to the next enemy with Indiscriminate. So the only bad thing about this interaction, it's a very cool interaction, but you might be noticing that the damage of the other orbs, I'll show you right here, is dealing very low amounts. You see how there's only 5 kinetic damage, and you might be like, okay, that might be only the case because you're using a low level sniper rifle, but if you were using a max level Storm as well, it's going to be the case. So the interaction unfortunately doesn't work properly because it probably was never supposed to work. So the orbs that spawn, or the other variant that you aren't using, is not going to deal any damage. It's just a cool interaction. If it did spawn the other one and deal a lot of damage as well, like deal the normal amount of damage, it would be really cool, but it doesn't. So unfortunately we can't do much damage with it. But let me show you the shock version now. So I'm going to unequip my fire Infusion. I have my shock Infusion. I equip my fire sniper rifle. I'm going to try to show you real quick, and you see that the orbs that spawned are right there. Those are the shock orbs as well, and you might be noticing that the shock orbs aren't doing the normal shock beam. Instead, it's doing a laser red sight to the nearby enemies. That's because this is not supposed to happen at all. Once again, very easily shown that this is a glitch that was not supposed to happen, and the game doesn't really know what to do at this point, so it just spawns little red lasers instead of the regular shock arching beams. And that's also the case if you were to switch over to cryo or corrosive. Any element that you try to spawn that isn't fire is going to make those shock orbs that then in turn do the little red laser sight. So if you want to try out a fun little, I don't know, cute little interaction, definitely go for it, but it doesn't service you in any particular way besides looks cool and give us false hope on a really busted interaction. It's still cool to look at, I'd definitely say that. And as always, a big shout out to the members who make these videos possible. We have Jace Noodles, Clairvoyance, 31bar70, and Rick Iglesias. These are the people who support me as little as $5 a month, and you can also support me as little as $5 a month by clicking the link in the comments description or on the top right to become a member. The more members we have, the closer I get to becoming full-time, which means more videos for you guys. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.
And the last shall be first to immerse in a pass out heat, facing him out with a moxie melt till he woke up drowning in tchotchke hell. More in a cave with a torch on a wall than a window arrangement of porcelain dolls.